Hi Dimple, how are you?
Yeah, hi. How are you? I'm good. Thank you for asking.
I'm good too. So Dimple, can you tell us something about yourself?
Sure. I'm Dimple Kanani. I'm having 5 years of experience in testing profile. As a tester, I'm having I have worked with different domain, legal, academic, medical education, and HMRC with their some hardware interaction. So, as a software testing, having a both side interaction, manual and automation, where my day-to-day activities and my roles and responsibility consideration of as a tester, I have to be a part of each and every ceremonies as a scrum mate or a retrospective or sprint planning, and based on the cards or a new change requests what is coming on a sprint task. According to that, as a tester start working on analysis part and test case designing. And parallelly, when we are doing test case designing and writing, we are accordingly upgrading our scripts and existing scripts, and if any upcoming changes are coming there, then according to we are making it prepared to upgrade according to the request. And when the actual cards comes to on qa split, we start executing the cards on first considering the smoke test and the functional test and the regression test in such a way for the manual cycle. And once we're done with the sprint work, we tag some of the test cases which can be automated, which is repetitive, which is can be a part of the regression testing. So we tag that as automated, and we tag that we opt that each and every test case for the automation purpose in the next sprint. So in such a way we can filter manual test case and the automation test case, and we do test case automation using playwright with javascript. So in such a way we used to work in our organization.
Okay, great. So you were telling you are categorizing the test into smoke, into regression. So how would you do that categorization? Can you elaborate in detail?
Sure. So while working as a manual tester, while we are going through each and every card, and then we know that is the changes are almost to be permanent. It's fixed. No upcoming changes are there. So accordingly, we highlight that to be automated. But still, some upcoming partial changes. There in next sprint, we are going to have some change on the same functionality or features. Enhancement is still going on. So we do not automate the same thing.
Mm.
So almost to be complete, which is not can be upgraded, such type of features we are going to make it to be automated. So this is the way how we can filter manual to and to automate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can you tell me something about your automation framework? What is the folder structure? Which are the different components that you have in your framework?
Yes, in my framework, we having a folder structure in such a way: Java main file, Java test file, and POM class library. So in
Mhm.
Java test file, we do have all the unit testing regarding test stuff where we actually do the test case feature files, and my Java main file, all configuration and config regarding data POM XML file. So in this categories, based on that we can make code reutilized in such a way. So framework is helps in such a way. In pom.xml file, we do have all the configurations file and the hook files. So based on that and such a folder structure, we worked as a framework creation.
Mm-hmm. So, when you are telling about this framework, are you telling about the normal Selenium automation framework, or you are telling about this Playwright tool that you are using?
I'm talking about normal Selenium framework.
Okay, normal framework. Okay, fine. So, let me show you one thing. So, whenever you get this question with respect to framework, what you can do over here is you can explain in this particular manner. So, first of all, you will have a project root folder, which is your automation frameworks folder root. And within, so it's a Maven based project. So you will have src main Java and you will have src test Java. Within src main Java, you will have a base class in which you will be setting up the WebDriver. You will have configuration files, the properties files. You will have pages, page object model, which is a design pattern. You will have utilities. I think you mentioned utilities correctly. You'll have
Yes.
reporting mechanism. You'll have resources, test data, properties, external files, right? And within src test Java, it would be more of the testing perspective files would be there, the validations, the assertions that you can make. So that you can make within the Cucumber step definitions. You will have runners in that, right? The logs are required, right? The log files are required, extent reports are required. You don't need this particular thing with respect to latest automation version. If you are upgraded to that, then you have test data, screenshots that you will be capturing. You have pom.xml file in which you will be having the maven dependencies for all those things. You have config.properties and you have testng.xml file. So this is how the entire folder structure would look like. So in an interview, you can explain about this one liner explanation you can just give for each of this component.
Okay.
That would be
Yes.
sufficient. Okay. Now, can you tell me what is the purpose of having this test runner and the step definition file? What is the purpose of them? Okay, no problem. So this is related to BDD. Okay. What is BDD? So BDD is actually a behavioral driven development thing. So let me tell you about BDD first. So what you will have is at times there are a few of the teams from the non-technical or from the customers and who would like to contribute to the automation framework, right? So non-technical people you can say, or you can say subject matter experts or BA who would like to contribute to the automation testing. Okay. Now they are not aware about all the code like public static void main and all those things, Java, any programming language. They are not aware about those kind of things. So what they will do is they will propose you to go with the BDD. What is BDD? So it is behavioral driven development. That's the way, that's the approach how you design the test. So they will design the test in the feature file. So feature file is one of the component which you can say as it will be designed by the subject matter experts, and they will have a step definition file. Okay, in which the automation team members, or you can say the sdet people, they will be writing the code, right? So whatever keywords you will make in your feature file, for all those keywords you will have code in the step definition file. Okay, this particular code is written by the automation team, and you have the test runner file in which you will be specifying the tag that you will be mentioning in your feature file, whether it's a module wise tags, or you might create smoke wise smoke test tag. You might keep sanity as one of the tag. You might keep regression as one of the tags. So that tags you will provide here. So from tags, it will come to know which feature file it needs to execute. And from feature file, it will come to know which step definition file it needs to execute. So test runner, step definition, feature file, all these are part of your BDD only, right? Okay. What do you know about weights in Selenium?
Yes, waits are there when we execute a script and might some web control takes some time to execute and load on a browser. At that time, we need to take help of waits. In Selenium, we do have different types of wait: implicit wait, explicit wait, and fluent wait. So, if we generally want to provide some waiting time, buffer time for each and every controls for each and every line that we have written, for that implicit waits is there. For explicit wait, we have predefined condition. So based on that condition, for that particular condition to execute, it will take time, and it will wait for that. Let's say one drop down and is there, and it is taking some time to have show all the values. For that, we can specifically, for that we have to keep predefined condition, and with that explicit wait will be held.
Okay, great, great. Okay, now tell me one thing is, let's say today is Saturday and you have triggered a few of the regression test to execute. Those are executing fine. On Monday, the same tests are getting failed. So why do you think, why do some test execution might fail on Monday, but those are working on fine on Saturday?
Here, circumstances can be based on some environment changes,
Mm,
or might be some midnight cron job. Anything can be activated, or can be anything happen. So
okay.
based on that, might possible my script is getting failed.
Mm,
Uh, this too can be the main reason could be possible.
okay. Fine. So it might happen there are some environment changes. It might happen there are some application level changes. It might happen that the machines on which your tests were running might have got some updates, right? So those are the possible things. Okay, now tell me, few of the test executions that you are doing, those are working fine in the Chrome browser, but those are failing in different browsers. So what can be the reasons behind that? So those are working in Chrome browser. You run those scripts. Let's say you have 25 scripts. You executed them. Those are running fine in the Chrome browser, but in other browsers, they are getting failed. So what can be the reason behind them?
So here reason could be a compatibility issue with the script and the particular Chrome, particular browser. Might
Hmm.
possible browsers version issue and version compatibility with the to execute that
Hmm.
script. So it could be anything of that. We have to first
Okay.
compatibility of that particular feature should be identified in which browser, which version it should be execute. So based on that, we can resolve this such type of issue.
Correct. Correct. So you're correct. See, uh, it might happen that your locators are different in different browsers, right? You might not be getting the same locator. So that consistency is required. So that kind of unit testing is required, right? Then at times the JavaScript execution speed also might vary, right? So what you can do is to overcome the solution can be you can use cross-browser testing tools like Selenium Grid is there, right?
Mhm.
And you can start using XPath with contains instead of
Right.
absolute XPath. So those kind of changes we can make into the scripts and make them more reliable, right? Okay. Um, okay. Uh, okay. Let's say if you have to get a list of elements from the drop-down list, so what would be your approach? There is a drop-down list in the web page which you are trying to automate, and you would like to get a list of elements from them.
For that, I will use action class, and by value, by index, by text, I can fetch the list of values available in my drop down. So first of all, I'll by locator any of XPath or ID, I will first of all fetch that locator, that drop
Mhm.
down, and with using the action class, I will fetch the values from that locator. Let's say my locator value driver locator is s1. So s1 dot drop down value by index, drop down by value, drop down by text. In such a way I can identify values.
Can you write a sample code for that? Just the logic. If you can share your screen and write the code. I'm giving you screen sharing rights. You can click on green color button, share screen.
Just a minute.
Can you share your screen? Can you open Notepad++? Yeah. Um,
I think so. I'm get stuck here. I am able to recall that I need to create an object of a action class and then need to
okay.
uh,
So
access
can you
to.
write the code in the chat itself? Yeah, that would be helpful.
I, I'm sorry, I'm stuck here.
No problem. No problem. That's right.
And I know I'm not correct here, but I'm
Mhm.
aware about of such of such methods are there, but I'm not
Okay.
able to write properly. It's wrong for now.
Value by
So
text and value by index, you are mean.
index,
No problem. No problem. So at least partially you are correct. Let me share the solution with you. Right. See, for this particular scenario, you'll be going for select class. Right. So you'll first identify the locator for the drop down. Okay. And then we'll create an object of the select. Then we will get all the options. So since we have a list, so we will be having list of web element. And then what we will do is we'll do traverse all the options one by one. Now, since we have to traverse all the options, so it will be for each loop here. For each loop is an advanced loop. You can go for loop, but it is recommended to use for each loop here and you'll get text. So basically, these are the options, sorry, methods that you can use. Get options, it will get all your drop-down values. Select by index, so it will select based on the index 1, 2, 3, whatever you pass in the parameter. Select by visible text, so it will select by text. Select by value, so that value you have to pass so that it will select, right? So that's how you can write this code. Okay. What is the difference between find element and find elements?
yeah, find element is it's when we are trying to hit particular single element and a locator, and find elements. It will take a list of array. It will take a array where list of elements will be there. If I'm not any elements are identified, array will be empty and it will show null in that. So in
Mhm.
such a way, it is different from each other.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. Any other difference? What is the return type of find element and what is the return type of find elements?
Elements return type is an array, and that find element, it's a null value return type.
Okay. Let me show you the differences. So there are 4 to 5 key differences that you have to cover, right? So when there are multiple elements that are present on a web page, right? So find element will return the first element. And find elements will return you all the elements. So when there is a single, then it will single is fine. But when no element is present, then it will throw no such element exception, right? And return type is web element. Here, return type is list of web elements. Since how you'll remember a list of web elements, so this is plural. Find
Huh,
elements. So
yes,
list.
yes.
This can be accessed directly, find element, and find elements needs to iterate the list. So as we saw, it will be used using for or for each loop.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's say you have got a user story, which is the search functionality in the Amazon.com that you have to automate. So how will you give estimation for that?
Okay.
And on what basis you will give the estimation? So considering the different points with respect to level of effort required, which are the different points you will consider while giving the estimation?
So here, efforts in the sense of first writing a script. Well, it's all about of automating that search text box, right?
Mm,
So writing the script, and I'll keep some buffer on it by having an issue and hurdle which to be resolved. And moreover, and while executing this script might possible, search element test data are based on the test data, it doesn't show proper outcome. So that filtering outcome and filter process, that again, based on that I am able to search, because user may provide some first of all filter, and they will search. So
mm,
that for that also I have to take some extra effort. So only searching, simply hitting iPhone 15 and I'm getting some outcome, it is one script easily I can hit. And for that, and rather than of impacting other possibilities of ending some filters and other things and then searching. So for that, all the aspect I have to consider, and then generate the estimation here. So keeping some buffers, I'll add some estimation here.
mm, mm. So, how much time would it take? Approximately, you can tell.
Approximately, if I say for that 4 to 5 days I required for scripting.
Okay. Okay. What is page object model?
Page object model um, is XML file in a framework.
So that is your pom.xml file that will be coming with a Maven, right? In which
Hanji,
will be uh, mentioning all the dependencies. Page
Hanji.
object model is a design pattern, right?
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So can you explain that design pattern? What are the advantages of that design pattern? How you implement that design pattern?
So in page object model, it's try to uh, divide and separate the class in such class, and they separate the objects in a single class and can reutilize in another class in such a way. Page object model is there, so separation of code is there for the purpose of reusability is the main purpose in that.
Mhm. Hmm. Okay,
Yes.
great. Uh, okay, let's say you are running your automated test and you are finding a defect. Then what do you do?
Okay, first approach is to looking at which type of error is there.
Hmm.
Is it because of some code, some syntax issue, somewhere it is getting stuck? So first of all, I need to do the debug, and based on that, I line by line I can go and where it is getting stuck. Based on that, I can identify or make it more easier to find the hurdle. That is my first approach. Second is to still I'm not able to identify, and so for that, um, I'll make it execute on real time with on a browser, and I'll see where it is stuck and which outcome is coming on. At least it is showing some error or just throwing some exception, so I can identify in such a way.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm. Okay. So, whenever you run the automated script and you find the failure, so it can be a defect in an application or it can be an issue in the automated script as well. So, you'll do root cause analysis, you'll identify the problem, right? Then, as you were telling, manually also you will try the same things. If it is happening, then you'll report that defect. Maybe you are using Jira as a bug tracking tool itself and those things. So, you'll report that defect to the development team and you'll ask them to fix. If it is something that is an automation script thing issue, then you will update the code changes and then you'll rerun it to make sure that the defect is not there, right? You have to come to that conclusion that defect should not be there. That is something that is very important, right? The automated script can be up and updated, and then it can be again made up and running, and then you can see if it is running up and running. So that means the defect was because of the maybe some automation
Some
script was clicking on somewhere else, and that's why this was happening.
yes.
Okay. Can you explain how the OOPS concepts are implemented in your framework?
Yes. So, as per the OOPS concept, encapsulation, inheritance,
Hmm.
polymorphism, and the abstractions. These are feature where we try to reutilize the code with less amount of redundancy of rewriting the code. That is the main purpose, and some security features are also included. So while having a framework generation, we generate objects and class that is a part of that abstraction, and we are calling the methods using the objects. So it is generating the it is showing that how we are using the abstraction.
Mm,
And encapsulation is means it's a combination of feature means functions and the its values, value not value variables, or I can say fixed value. So well, while we are creating any class or making one function and calling in another class or generating a package,
mm,
it's again we are utilizing in a framework. Even though while we are inheriting a class from another class, that is a concept of inheritance. So we do that in our generating a framework. So it in such a way we are we are taking a help of oops concept in a framework.
mm, mm, mm. Okay. Okay. So let's say you have a base class in Java in your automation framework in which you have initialized, you have declared the web driver over there. Now, this base class web driver, I want to use in one of my pages. So I have different pages. One is class A, one is login class.java file, right? Then there is a logout class.java file, right? I want to use the properties, the methods of the WebDriver interface. So which OOPS concept will be applied here?
It's inheritance. I'm taking help of inheritance where
Inheritance. Okay.
parent class and child class relationship is there.
Right. So you will use extends keyword
Hanji, yes.
and you will call the methods in your page level. Okay. Now let's come to next thing. You have step definition file, and in those step definition file also I need the WebDriver and its methods. Okay. Again, I'll do inheritance here as well. So I'll inherit here and I'll inherit here as well. So is it possible to do inheritance in both the ways?
Yes, multiple inheritance is possible to do. There where one class is a parent and multiple childs are there, and one parent class is been inherited in multiple child class. So it's possible. It's we can do that thing.
But multiple inheritance is not supported in Java, right? So there are different types of inheritance and multiple inheritance is not supported in Java.
Okay.
Then what will you do?
So can we take help of multi-level where class A to B, B to C, that is multi-level inheritance we
So
can
you
do
mean instead of going from this to this, you are going from this to this,
this to this, yes, step definition, yes.
but you have initialized WebDriver here,
In here,
right? And base class is a kind of the class in which you will define web. If there are any changes, you will just do changes here. If there are any in this approach, what would happen is if there are any changes, you have to do here, then you have to do here as well, and
hmm.
accordingly, this will take care. So
Right.
what would happen in this case?
So here I can take help of runtime inheritance. I can say polymorphism. So
Okay, polymorphism. So polymorphism, you have got okay. Which are the two types of polymorphism?
it's runtime and compile time. Two
Compile
time
time.
polymorphism are there.
Okay.
So as per as multiple inheritance is not allowed as
Mm,
uh, in Java. So
mm,
we can take help of that polymorphism at runtime.
mm,
Is,
mm, mm.
is it possible?
So polymorphism will not come here. See, what you can do is this is fine. This particular approach, you can call this pages related classes. They will inherit this base class.
Hmm.
The step definition, what they will do is they might inherit this base class or they might inherit this pages as well, right?
Okay.
So that's also possible. So that's also fine. Okay, so it's up to us how we want to use. So basically, when you have classes over here, you have pages, right? In those pages, you will have locators, you will have methods, getter setter methods, which will be supporting those particular locators. And these particular methods I want to use in my step definition file in my code, right? So I will have to extend the pages as well, page classes. So two kinds of inheritance is happening here. One is your single level inheritance.
Hmm.
Okay. Another inheritance in which you have base class, it is inherited by multiple child classes. Okay. So that is known as hierarchical inheritance.
Okay, so base class is going to be inherited by
Right?
step definition even.
Step definition as well as pages related package are there. That also it will get inherited. Right? So that's how it would be working. Okay. What is WebDriver? WebDriver a class?
WebDriver is a class, and we creating the object of that, and based on that we are taking further actions. So it is my first step to execute and first line to do when we are taking scripting any code.
Mm-hmm. So WebDriver is actually an interface. It will have lot many methods, right? In which what would happen is you can have these methods of get, navigate to, all these methods are there,
Navigate.
right?
Yes.
So it's an interface. Okay. Uh, Fine. Dimple, I'm done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
No, Rak, it's
Yeah.
done from my side even.
Right, right.